Sometimes it's way easier to train the insurance piece of it than it is to train somebody how to show up to work on time.
If I have an account manager, I need an account manager. If I have a CSR, I need a CSR, whatever. Let's keep it simple.
When somebody comes and tells you, no, this is impossible, there is a missing power structure there. All right, we are back, joined here by Stephen and Bobby, and we're going to dive in today something I think is critical. You know, we're wrapping up the year, right? And so this is also the time of year at APP where we pull everybody's job descriptions and we identify, do we need to make any tweaks, make any updates? How close did we come to the job descriptions? Just to kind of tie everything together, because being a small business, things you tweak and change. But I'm still so amazed at how many agencies don't have up-to-date, accurate job descriptions. And then we wonder why people don't know what to do. And don't get me wrong, like from time to time, ours get a little out of hand. Again, like we don't necessarily go back. That's an initiative we're going to have next year of, hey, like once a quarter, just sitting in, like, let's look at your job description. How are you performing? What can we do to help? What's working? What's not working? Not from a review perspective, but from a resource perspective, like what can we help with? What do we do, right? But, you know, especially for customer service, I think it's like people put like take payments, like answer the phone, change vehicles, do a certificate, renew policies. And it's like, all right, well, you just described a task list, but there's an opportunity here for like how we make clients feel. And I know, Bobby, you and I have talked about this at length. I mean, one thing that just infuriates me about this whole industry, like, and I mean, infuriates me if I hear one more time, it's so hard to find people. Okay, send me a link to your job posting. Oh, we don't have one of those up. Yeah, no joke. It's hard to find people when no one knows you're looking. But when we did, we spent $300 and we just got a whole bunch of people that weren't qualified. I go, okay, so then that's what the market has. Did you go out and reach out to people? No. Did you tell all your marketing reps? No. Did you tell all your business owner friends? No. Did you go on LinkedIn and try to recruit the best team member from your biggest competitor? That's rude. I go, it's probably as rude as the customer service we're giving when your team is short-staffed. So, Bobby, tell us a little bit about, like, you know, and I tell people you have to write a job posting like a dating ad. Like, it's been a minute. I'm not on those. I think me and Andrew have been together now over 15 years, right? So probably like 17, 18. So it's been a minute. But if you write like, you know, my other favorite thing that insurance agents do on job postings is they put like 7 jobs in one posting to save money. And I'm like, that title matters so much, because if I'm searching for commercial account manager and I see insurance, like I'm not looking at the 17 job postings. So Bobby, what do you think about this? Because you did a lot of like, you know, training of military spouses and getting the best people in.
Well, I think there's something to be said for a candidate that really meets your cultural standards. Insurance, yes, insurance can be difficult, and what we do each day is hard work, but when we can find that great cultural fit, they are driven, they're hardworking. Sometimes it's way easier to train the insurance piece of it than it is to train somebody how to show up to work on time or how to be a good team.
Up to work. Yeah. Working on time. We're just happy when they arrive.
We're just saying, yeah, we accept the worst out of people because we're afraid to run them off because we don't have anybody else to replace them. And we get into this situation where our agency leadership is held hostage by staff who doesn't want to do things that we really need them to do to take our customer service to the next level. And we're just accepting bad behavior. And we're just creating little monsters. We may have to cut all of this, but if I'm being too forward, however, I am extremely passionate about this. I think when you can find the right people that believe, and I think this is why it's so important when you're writing that job posting, that we make it exciting. Why do they want to join your organization? What is it about you that's going to be fun, that's going to make them swipe? Is it right? Is right the good way?
Again, outside of my realm of expertise is the swiping of
I
the.
don't know.
The last time I did it, I don't even think there was apps. You still had to use the newspaper. But then again, I'm
Oh,
almost 100, so.
Do you like
know.
pina coladas?
missed connections.
Yep.
So-
Do you like pina colada?
That's right. So
And
I
put
think
toast in the rain.
we got to know, what does that look like? And I think we got to look at some of our highest achieving people and say, what are those qualities that they have? What makes us exciting? What makes somebody want to join our team? And then making sure that in conjunction with that, when they come in, we attract this person, we find this person. Now we have a really good, well-written job description to tell them the things that then they are expected to know and do, and the services that they're expected to deliver. And this is going to include everything from not just a task list, but how we deliver this service. What is our values? What can Kelly and Stephen expect from me each day? And what can I expect from them, so that we all know that we're in this together and we are delivering exactly what our clients are expecting and more.
Yeah, I love it too with the renewal review calls, because we started updating, like when clients go through that, like, okay, you need to update your job description. Like, oh, we just did that with you guys. No, no, no. Now you have to add in the renewal review calls because you weren't doing them. Now you are. We said we have to give people a new job description 100%. If you want your renewal review calls done, you 100% have to come back to saying you're violating your job description. But, maybe Stephen, you can talk about like really, I'm not a title person by nature, but a lot of people are. Like, you can call me whatever you need to. It doesn't really bother me. But there are people that are.
And it drives me batty going into an agency, right? Because when we're doing an assessment, you get everybody's name and title, and sometimes they send you an email, and we have a senior executive customer service relationship manager, and then we have a customer service representative tier 2, and then we have the account manager extraordinaire for personal lines. And I go in and I interview everybody, and I sit down with leadership, and I'm like, what's the difference between these 7 different job descriptions or 7 different titles? They're like, nothing. They all do the exact same thing. They all have they're all on the same comp plan. They all have the same responsibilities. They all have similar KPIs. And I'm like, so let's streamline that. So when I'm calling in as a customer, I'm not confused either. If I have an account manager and that account manager's out, I'm not now suddenly getting a tier 3 executive director of customer relations, right? Because that's, as a customer, that's confusing. If I have an account manager, I need an account manager. If I have a CSR, I need a CSR, whatever. Let's keep it simple. Like, we might need to have a stepping stone, like to go from this role to this role. Here's like that middle phase, but we don't need 17 levels of the same position where people just create their own titles.
No, that's so true. And I think sometimes we create ones because we don't want to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
Like, well, they've been here so long. We can't take that title away from her. I go, then let's create it. I sometimes do say, let's create a new one. But the retirement bandwidth has to be within, 48 months.
And I think too that someone's looking at, they've been here so long, whatever. And I'm like, then what are they doing to advance to the next level? And they're like, oh no, they're not going to. I'm like, then they get to be in the bucket with everybody else. Just because they've been here longer doesn't mean they get a special title. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't, right? Are they doing everything that everybody else is still required to do, or do they do something special? I'm like, well, no, they've just done the same thing for 30 years. And I'm like, great, but we have somebody who's been here 3 years that does the exact same thing they do it to the same level. They're like, yep. I'm like, same title.
Yeah. I also think too, when it comes down to, duties and responsibilities, this is the most important part for me. Like, answer the phone in 3 rings. Like, it should be that detailed, or say follow agency processes and procedures, which we have pre-built for you guys. If you're like,
hello,
for procedures, go to our website. We'll put it in the show notes. You can go ahead and get our process and procedures. But I think that, you have to tie back to the actual scenario. Like, it's like you fog a mirror and you showed up, here's your paycheck. And I always think about like agency leaders, you should be in your head thinking about like, how can I make my agency like Chick-fil-A? Or how can I make it like Nordstrom or like Disney? But I think so often it's like we look at what we have out there, like we have the Bad News Bears team, and they're like, or like the Mighty Ducks before they got good, they're like pig piling and like bumping into each other. And you're like, okay, how are we going to win championships? I think you have to not sit and make job descriptions around what you have. You have to make them around what you want
And what you need.
and what you need 100%. So, Bobby, how do you think about putting like the requirements and expectations out there, right? Because let's be honest, like a lot of people have never had it. So then we put them out there and like, you want my retention to be 93%, or you want me to call every renewal, Bobby? That's impossible. And first of all, I want you to answer this from perspective of like how rude that is for an employee to say that. And then, like rude. And then I want you to then think about like, hey, like why would that much detail need to be in a job description? What could agency owners gain from that in the future that they might not be seeing?
Well, I think that it all goes back to what is those expectations, and now how can I hold somebody accountable? I think that's where we kind of go wrong a lot of times in agencies, is that we have all these feelings and everybody, today I feel very busy, but then tomorrow the phone doesn't ring. But I'm so busy from yesterday. I'm still on my busy.
I might be busy again. I might be busy again.
Yeah, I'm on my busy hangover. Like I'm on my busy hangover day, and then the next day the phone might ring 10 times, but like everybody's busy is subjective, right? So what are we actually looking for? And I think this is one of the, when I write workflows and when I was doing that part of my life, what I loved about that was that I could write a workflow and it would tell you exactly how many minutes it would take to do that workflow.
Mm.
So if I know that it takes
but Bobby,
3 minutes
longer, because
why? So then we need to determine, does Kelly need some training? Does Kelly need some support? Do we need to go back in and say, okay, take a typing class if you are hunting and pecking, or is it that you don't understand the certificate? Like, there's all these things that we can determine when we have the facts. How long is it taking our team to do certain things? What is the expectation of what they should be doing? And we need to be able to share those numbers with the team. And I think this is a place where a lot of agency leaders and agency principals don't have control over their analytics, their data, and their metrics. And this causes a huge, huge problem for them. It spits out some spreadsheet and they go, okay, great. Now I have no clue what to do with that. And if you need help with that, we are your people, and you need to hit the button right now and book a meeting, because
subscribe, do the
things. Yeah, you gotta get control. You gotta take that control back, and numbers are going to take the control back, and they're going to get you out of the feeling to what is it that we're working on. And I think when I talk to teams and they like to tell me, oh, well, I'm going to hold on to that thing. Well, if you hold on to that thing and you don't give it to the person who is supposed to be doing it, now I can't truly measure the amount of the job that we need to do. So now I can't create a roadmap or a strategy to fix that problem.
But imagine at Chick-fil-A, I was like, no, Bobby, I want to make my chicken sandwich this way.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't fly. And that's where I think agency owners need to regain back. Like, hold on, no, we're going to do it this way. And if you don't want to, I understand it's hard to hire, but we've seen so many bright spots of people welcoming new people in. And that's the only way they know. They don't fight the system, which is why it's like when somebody comes and tells you, no, this is impossible, there is a missing power structure there. I look at it like, would you take that from your kid who's like, you know what? No, I'm not coming home on curfew. No, you change the Wi-Fi password and you'd like take the door off the hinges and say, now we'll see who's in charge.
One of the other ways that I try to explain it to the team who doesn't want to adapt is you're not allowing somebody else to do their job, right? So you're saying, I'm better than you. I'm going to do the job for you. And if it's not part of your role, that really means that you want to support that person. So you want to do all of their work, let them still get paid, but that means that eventually there's going to be not enough to fill their plate to feed their family. So they're going to all have to move in with you. Then you're going to have to cook for all of them, clean for all of them, do their laundry, and handle all of their children and drama as well. So maybe you should send it to where it needs to go. So you don't have them all and their family all moving in with you, because that's probably not going to be pretty. And then suddenly like light bulbs click and you see eyes get wild and they start panicking and they're like, okay, yes, I will no longer do X, Y, or Z. I will give it to the right person.
And you also have to give people the gift of building their own insurance career, just like everybody else got, right?
Yeah.
I just think sometimes people just don't want solutions. I'm super convinced of this, right? Like, so the biggest thing is you need job descriptions, number one.
Yeah.
We have them for sale on our website. So you don't even have to start with all the riffraff. And our job descriptions have the mission of the role, which is like a narrative. When people do this right, this is what it should look like. It has all of the responsibilities, and then you can convert it into a review sheet where they review themselves and you review them, not on just like, do I feel like you did a good job this month, but like, are you actually hitting standard? Then we have key performance indicators, which are the metrics to track that role. So we talk about facts, not feelings. And then we go into our values and you rate them on the values. And it says like, hey, your manager will check in on this every quarter with you. And like, I think so many teams are just left out to the wild. Like they're like wild animals. And then we start putting structure on, everybody has a mini panic attack, but that's how it's supposed to be when you kind of go into a new way. But job descriptions are your friend, people. Job descriptions are your friend. If you've never written one before, please come see us.
I also would like to add the thought we should not be creating specific job descriptions for specific people.
No.
Because when that person goes, which they normally will, you then have to find that unicorn again, and it's going to be nearly impossible. So then you have to take up the bag and disturb all the other positions in the agency to offload some of that, and then cause more panic to ensue because you've just taken the world and turned it upside down.
I'm just going to leave with a quick story. There's an agency I had, and they had two commercial lines account managers, and both of them were past retirement age, let's just say. They were very resistant to many things. One in particular was use of management system because they had paper files, and they were on an antiquated for today's times management system. And I said, they're like, we're so busy, we're so overwhelmed, we can't keep up, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, they just had the look, when they're ghost white looking at you, like, and I said, okay, so what you want me to do is go find you someone that's a tad bit younger. I know that's not an HR protocol, but these two were past retirement age, right? Who is going to use an out-of-date management system and update your paper files. Because I can't find somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, they need to learn our way. I go, but your way is going to be retiring with you. And they were not super happy with that statement. But I said, you're complaining you're so overwhelmed, but you won't use technology, you won't use automation. You want to update the management system and the paper file because you trust the paper file. You still don't trust the glowing box that's been here for 20 years. But that to me just says, hey, the agency owner has to swoop in and tell them this is what's happening. This is not optional any longer.
Right.
Just my 2 cents. All right, everybody, check out the job descriptions, go do our thing, and let us know if we can help you in any way, shape, or form. We appreciate you guys.
Bye, guys.